Yes, sir. Back at it again. Pop up style on y'all, man. More news coming out. We got to talk about it. We know it's a late Sunday night. We know you got to get ready for work tomorrow. But on the way to bed, let's talk about some Falcon news. Let's talk about Kevin Stefanski. We talked about it before, me and Smitty, when we first hired Kevin Stefanski. Whether you enjoyed the hire or whether you didn't, at the end of the day, we knew that he is representing the logo. But we also stated this is not going to be over as far as the end of the talk, as far as the end of the doubt. We knew Kevin Stefanski is going. Well, we know Kevin Stefanski is going to have to come in and prove himself, of course, to the Atlanta fan base, regardless. But we're still
Absolutely.
reverting back to the Browns fan base and Browns players, and everyone has a podcast now. That's even in sports related. So it's just like, okay, it felt like DMX, man. Here we go again. But we're gonna get into it though, man. Smitty, what's going on, family?
Hey man, what's good,
Hey man,
man?
what's good,
Man, everybody don't need a podcast, man, because some people they just try to take
try to take
advantage of it and they
advantage
just
of it
use
and
it
they
for the
just use
wrong
it for the
purpose.
wrong purpose.
Cause they want to
They
still
want
be
to
relevant.
still
But
be
like you
relevant.
said,
But
we'll
like
get
you said,
into
we'll
it.
get into it.
Mm-hmm. Gotta holler at the chat, man. What's good? We got Ski in the chat. Yeah, he's saying, "Oh no, this BS again." I know, right? Kendrick, what's happening? Floyd, what's going on? DBG, what's happening, man? Tall, what's happening? Debo, C. Samuel. Oh, his name is
Miss Char-
Charlene, is it?
Miss Charlene, yeah, Miss Charlene down there.
Oh, how you doing?
That's
Trucker
day one
Mike.
now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, y'all come on in, man. We finna get it going. Not gonna hold y'all too long, but definitely gonna always want y'all opinion on this. And
Man,
let's
not
get
good.
into it, man. You said what's the Uh-oh. Actually, just coming in just loud already.
Nah, he said I'm
Nah,
echoing
it's
the kid.
echoing again.
Uh-oh.
Let me see if this
Let me
helps.
see if this help.
Nope, still
Nope,
echoing.
still echoing.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I hear it now. That's what I be talking about technology, man. Sometimes it just does what it wants to do. It does what it wants to do, man. Yeah, man. But Smitty working on that though, yeah. Again, we talked about it in the beginning, and now it's coming back again. We knew it wasn't going to be the end of it. And it's going to be an ongoing thing that Falcons fans are going to have to deal with. Love it or hate it, we're going to have to deal with it because this is our head coach now being Kevin Stefanski. And I've heard all kind of things from Falcon fans and Browns reporters are glazing and they're not seeing what's in front of them in their eye, right in their face. Talking about that, like we even have to the point to where people are even saying that the coach of the year is not even mattering. Like we're downplaying the coach of the year because it's the Cleveland Browns. Like it's so many different things that's going on. So many things being said. And it's also just like a topic of discussion that I feel like it's easy to talk about as well. It's one of those things where how you're just thinking about just trying to get some content out. That's how I kind of feel, man. I don't know. I mean, call me crazy, but I just feel like it's just let me get those clicks, likes, and views, man. Really, because I just know it was one tone on one end, and I know Jarvis Landry. He's been pretty much trying to be consistent with it. But the Browns fan base and just like off of his comments that we're about to play in a moment here, the way their reaction off of it is just like I don't know, like Jesus came back and preached a sermon. I don't know. Is it that I'm just being? That's how I'm taking it when I'm sitting back, having nothing to do with the Browns fan base. but I do look at how it was presented and then how they react to it. Oh, I told you, it's man. I'm just like, my goodness. I'm just saying, man. Smitty, you back?
I think I'm back, man.
Okay,
No, still echoing. Still echoing, man.
Oh man, that sucks. That sucks, man. I tell you what, man. What we gonna do? What Bill Bellamy said on how to be a player. I'm gonna play it for you, Falcon fans. I'm gonna play it for you, and y'all start giving y'all takes as of course me and Smitty giving our thoughts as well. Yeah, it's not that bad as far as Smitty's echo, that is.
So you telling me this he deserves two-time coach of the year? Maybe he got it because he was coaching the Cleveland Browns.
His first year he came in.
Yeah.
We made some noise.
Yeah.
Obviously the years before we hadn't had no success at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was I do think it was fitting and well deserved. I know when I was there for 100% fact, when we were struggling as an offense, I know Kevin Stefanski himself gave up play calling to AVP. The same thing he's done, that we have guys that have told us that he's done throughout the years of not being able to get it done as a play caller and then putting it off on somebody else. Then the team gets success, and then he takes over play calling again. I don't know how much history he's going to have as a head coach. But again, with this record, only thing he really got going for him is those two-time coach of the year.
See what I'm saying? The coach of the year doesn't even matter because it's Kevin Stefanski. Because he was coaching the Cleveland Browns. Whew, boy, that is rough. That's rough right there, y'all. I really don't understand, honestly, how a coach of the year really just gets thrown to the wayside. Like it doesn't even matter. That's almost like throwing a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro selection to the side to say, oh, it don't matter. So what did he make that? It's just again, that's how I just feel like what I was talking about earlier about just getting some content out. But we did say that this wasn't going to be the end of it when we first hired Stefanski, and the whole outrage, was coming from here and there. It died down, but it's still a topic of discussion. It's still going to be something that's going to be talked about, not only in March, but it's going to be brought up again somewhere in June, probably July, training camp, all the stuff like that. Then don't allow us to mess around and start struggling. Anything during the season, that's when they're really going to try to hit us hard, Falcon fans. They really, if we are struggling, I don't care if it's the least little bit, because all you got to give is the media an inch. They'll take a mile now or two. So that is where we have to really just start focusing on, like when the season starts, like, hey, put it out your mind, because regardless, you're going to see the tabloids if we're struggling, if we have any kind of backslide, anything that just goes wrong. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, remember, Stefanski didn't succeed in Cleveland. Falcons getting it wrong again, blah, 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 blah. That's why we always, that's why I definitely always say, regardless of the decisions that you make, you got to live with them, and they have to work. Smitty.
Yep.
Say something to us, man. All right, there we go.
Man, it echo getting on my nerves, bro.
Nah, I totally understand.
And I hate to do a show with echo, man.
Nah, I definitely understand, man. Like, I understand. Who said that? That is Jarvis Landry, former NFL receiver. Played with some time with Kevin Stefanski, up close and personal. And speaking of personal, that's something that Kevin Stefanski, according to Mr. Jarvis Landry himself, saying that Kevin Stefanski is not really like personal like that as a head coach. Like he doesn't really try to make personal relationships. And I know one thing that Todd Monken is apparently trying to do in Cleveland is to have those one-on-one, those personal relationships, those open door policies, etc. They're talking about those things in Cleveland because apparently they're saying they didn't have that with Kevin Stefanski. So regardless, even I think AVP is Alex Van Pelt, Tonio. Same, yep. Alexander Van Pelt. Yes, it is. And everything. But yeah, so again, it's just like my thing is I look at it like this. I look at it as, yeah, okay. Let's say he did give up that play calling. Okay, let's be fine and dandy with that. But let's look at it from a different perspective. Okay, yes, you want your leader, the captain of the ship, all that stuff, to be able to handle all of the fires, put all the fires out, be able to rise up to the occasion, be a good head coach, be someone I hate to admit it, but at the same time, be someone similar to like a Kyle Shanahan, to where it comes to like he can command this, he can command that. You always got a game plan for him. He knows how to command the offense. Not just call plays, but command the offense. So I get that. But what about from a different perspective? What about a guy knowing that, hey, my philosophy right now is not clicking with everybody, but let me try to see if another voice can come in, or another voice that we have on the team can come and control the offense while I put out fires in other locations. It is supposed to be a team sport, and you do hire coaches for jobs. So what about getting out of my own way, possibly, and allowing somebody else to run this while I'm taking care of this over here, taking care of this over there, game planning for that. Maybe I get a little bit more game planning in, something like that. I mean, yeah, personal relationships, man. They were talking about that. We seen what that calls Raheem. We don't need any personal relationship coaches, and that is actually hold some weight too. Because yeah, we did have Raheem Morris, and the guys wanted to run through the wall for Raheem Morris, straight up and down. You ain't gotta like that. That's just what it is. But at the same time, where did it get us? Terry Fontenot had a fire draft the last draft, right? Past 2 seasons overall, you can really say that was Terry Fontenot's best time as a GM. But in 5 years, though, where did it get us? At the end of the day, you got to produce.
What up, man?
What up, man?
Hey, man, you back?
Yeah. Okay. Website, bro.
Yeah, man, I know it. Well, I still would like your thoughts about definitely Mr. Jarvis Landry and his comments. And I mean, do they hold weight? And that's what I want to know from the people in the chat as well, man. Do this stuff hold weight to you? Does it even matter? You say you ain't hear it? Okay, I got you.
I didn't hear it all.
I got you, fella. Let's see here. All right. One more again.
So you telling me he deserves two-time coach of the year? Maybe he got it because he was coaching the Cleveland Browns.
His first year he came in.
Yeah.
We made some noise.
Yeah.
Obviously, the years before we hadn't had no success at all.
0.
So it was. I do think it was fitting and well deserved. I know when I was there for 100% fact, when we were struggling as an offense, I know Kevin Stefanski himself gave up play calling to AVP. The same thing that he's done. That we have guys that have told us that he's done throughout the years. of not being able to get it done as a play caller and then putting it off on somebody else. Then the team gets success, and then he takes over play calling again. I don't know how much history he's going to have as a head coach. But again, with this record, only thing he really got going for him is those 2-time Coach of the Year.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's crazy. Let me be brutally frank and honest with y'all right quick. This to me screen number diva mentality, and we all know that wide receiver have these diva mentalities. But 2-time Coach of the Year, man, let's keep it honest. That's no easy feat. And his first year in Cleveland was a winning season with Baker Mayfield, and they struggled to win football games before he got there. Baker Mayfield threw about 30-some interceptions in his first 2 years. Then when you look at what it takes to coach in the NFL, it takes a lot to coach in the NFL. And honestly, if the front office don't give you what you want and they give you what they feel like you need, then guess what? It's going to be a problem. But Solomon said right quick, Solomon said Jarvis Landry Comments holds weight if other players are consistently saying the same things. I have heard other players say they enjoy playing with Kevin Stefanski. And see, that's the thing. Y'all got to look at the totality of the entire picture. When you think about his experience as an offensive guy, this is what he's predicated his career on. If you look at some of these Browns teams, the 2 times that he won Coach of the Year, they were able to score points and put up points and play good defense. And when you look at Jarvis Landry, to me, he's being bitter because, let's be real, outside of his years in Miami, what did he do in the NFL? So now you try and trash a coach that's finally got another chance. And I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I have no problem with Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, some players are not going to like our coaches, and sometimes not going to hold weight. Why? Because when you see positive come out of a situation, like a lot of us talk about Shedeur Sanders situation, I had problems with it to an extent, but y'all got to look at the totality of how he was treated coming into the NFL when he was supposedly being blackballed by the owners of not to get drafted. That right there says to me that they took a chance on him, even though they drafted Dylan Gabriel before him, but they still took a chance on him. And Kevin Stefanski, and Shedeur said it himself, Kevin Stefanski worked with me off the field 2-3 times a week, making sure I was film ready, making sure I was ready for the game, taking up solo time to, give me tips and pointers with the offense, just doing what he can to help me succeed. So when he told me that let me know that the media was always trying to spin a narrative because of Dylan Gabriel being drafted before him and Shedeur. But if you think about it, the owners had it out for him from the jump. So how could he win? The only way he could win was Kevin Stefanski had to step in for him and teach him some things. But that's all I have to say, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, that's why I said, man, the floor was definitely yours. Definitely wanted to get your thoughts about it. But there's some more context to this. And yes, I did bring it up earlier, kind of like to just indicate to it. But I got more comments from Jarvis Landry because those comments that were just recently talked about, those were the most recent. But these are some comments that came days prior to this just recently being out, which is another reason why I just say trying to get the content out. But I'm in agreement with the people in the chat who are saying we need a coach, not necessarily a friend. We need somebody who can be a leader of men. I can really care less who like who, as long as on Sunday we go out there as a unit, go out there as controlled chaos and take care of business. Even if we don't have, we don't have to go out and go out to dinner and all that stuff like that. If we just not cool, we just not cool. As long as we know on Sunday, we may not be cool, but we best friends against this enemy right here. And we're going to go out there and execute. Perfect example, not even related to football. Jordan and Pippen. Shaq and Kobe. Now Phil Jackson, that was the coach that was able to control those combustible elements and get them over the hump to the championships. And my thing is, Phil, even himself, he didn't take no BS. So again, it's not even about being friends. Just go out there and get it done. I just want to win. That's all I care about. And honestly, that should be the most important thing. But let's talk about the personality and the personal things. Like, go ahead, Jarvis. Say your piece, sir.
To be around, it's like you say, it's like it just almost felt like, you know, as much as he knew what he was doing, right, he really maybe didn't, right? And I think that, like, sometimes, you know, some of these coaches or most of these coaches get put in a position too soon, right? You know, they have success as a position coach, right? And then they get thrown into this head coaching role where, you know, you expect most of these coaches that's younger to be more personable, right? More relatable with their players. Yeah. And in most cases, it just doesn't work out that way, right? And I know, like, my time in Cleveland, especially in the beginning, man, it was great. Like, he didn't win the coach of the year. You know, we ended up going to the playoffs. And then for some reason, then after, bro, it just kind of felt like, you know, the spark between the connection between the players and the coaches just kind of started to dim out, right? Yeah. I don't.
We'll stop it right there. The connection between the coaches and the players. Now, I will admit, Smitty, and we talk about this too, you know, about having that chemistry in the locker room and guys losing the locker room and stuff like that too. So, I mean, even though it happened in Cleveland, that still is, you know, a foundation that we still have to stand on as far as like guys losing the locker room. But at the same time, he also mentioned in there that the first year, everything was great. Everything, you know, we winning games, all that stuff like that. And then over time, things just start kind of like wearing out their welcome. He's not being as personable. Again, like I said, having those one-on-one relationships and all that stuff like that. At the end of the day, that was kind of really like your experience. Like, I hope I'm not being insensitive, but I mean, that's like kind of like your experience. I'm going to take note of it. We've taken notes of it. We've talked about it. I'm not going to bring it back and try to keep on talking about things over and over. I just know that Kevin Stefanski is our head coach now. And regardless of how you felt about it, including myself, how we felt about it on day one, regardless, this is our head coach. And right now, our best chance to not only get to the playoffs as he did for the Browns, you know what I'm saying? Like, but also possibly even further than that, hopefully. We're just hoping that in the next 2-3 seasons, we're not here yet again talking about a new head coach and being excited about a new head coach or whatever the case may be. Smitty, what you got?
I agree with you 100%. And as I look at it, coaches are not here to be friends, true enough. But y'all got to look at the totality of everything. The second time he won Coach of the Year, they made it to the playoffs. They blew out Pittsburgh in that wild card game. Nick Chubb got hurt that year. And when Nick Chubb got hurt, that killed the Browns' chances. So when you look at the aspect of everything, the Browns messed Kevin Stefanski up. Think about it. And we've talked about this before. When you go out and you're having success with a quarterback and the front office takes it upon themselves to go out and get Deshaun Watson, who have off-the-field problems, that's a problem in itself. And you got to remember, they still had the best defensive player in the league, Myles Garrett, at that point. So when you look at the totality of everything in Cleveland, a lot of the problems and bad perception came from the front office and not the coach. Kevin Stefanski did his job coaching his offense up because, as we know, he likes to play action. He's a West Coast style, coach, offensive play caller. He loves to play action. He loves to run the football. Look at Nick Chubb and look at the other running back they've had. Even Jerome Ford had a decent season a couple of seasons ago. But what Jarvis has to understand, man, not everything is going to go your way. And you got to think about distraction, like somebody said, and I have to remember that, Zay. When Odell and had problems talking about he not getting the football and things of that nature, a coach has a lot to deal with. And when you have a lot of divas on your team, these are the distractions that you don't need. When distractions come along, guess what? Problems and losing gonna come with it. So his time in Cleveland, I had no problem with it. I just felt like it ended bad, and I just feel like it could have been a lot better had the distraction went away. Had the quarterback had he kept his same quarterback in Baker Mayfield and kept growing in that system. I feel like him and Baker would have been kind of a special quarterback head coach duo in the league. But it didn't turn out that way. He ended up going to Carolina, then the Rams, now in Tampa. And Kevin Stefanski has been, in Cleveland all those years with dysfunction. So now he's in an organization in Atlanta who is trying to turn the corner and be consistent with putting the right players on the team, let him pick his team, putting the right coaches around him, let him build the staff the way he wants to. So communication is key in any relationship. Communication is key in anything that you do. And the Browns organization had poor communication, and the owner and the front office just wanted to do what the hell they wanted to do when they wanted to do it. Just keep it real.
Just keep it real.
Nah, facts. I mean, you think about it too. I mean, when a coach, or a player moves on, and it didn't go right or it didn't go well, it's going to be somebody like almost like some buyer's remorse. Oh, I hate that we even did that from the beginning. We're going through that ourselves. We do want those years back with Raheem Morris. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, being 6-3, but overall, where did it get us? Right back to square one. So at the end of the day, like, I really just think it's all tongue in cheek the most part. I mean, some of the things in there like are truthful, yeah, but my biggest question is, why does it seem like with that podcast, you have two guys? The first they talked about the Deshaun Watson thing. We didn't even talk about that. We didn't even do a show about how he was talking about how Deshaun backed out of the deal at the last minute because it was supposed to be Deshaun, Jarvis Landry, and Leonard Fournette. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I know we had to make some moves, but that wasn't just like I wanted different receivers. I knew Leonard Fournette still had some juice and everything, and Jarvis Landry was cool. But, our cap situation, wide receiver room situation, everything was just different. But either way it goes, Deshaun Watson backs out of the deal, and the rest is history for that. But why it seems like with this podcast, it's always coming back to Kevin Stefanski, or coming back to something dealing with Stefanski or his time in Cleveland. Like why this podcast has come back to this subject at least 3 or 4 times already. And I'm kind of like with Larry, are there people paying this people to attack this man? Like, it's just like, my goodness, it's really crazy. It's really crazy. Solomon says it always felt the Browns organization failed Kevin the last 2 years. He had no say so in the personal decisions from what I've heard. And we've talked about that as well. We've talked about that the whole situation just was different. My thing is, when he got fired, it really was a weight lifted off of his shoulders because he didn't even want to be there no more. Those last 2 years probably put that grade as at the bottom of that beard in the most. It's just, at the end of the day, like, when you have injuries, when you have dysfunction, when you have an ownership that's going to do whatever they want. And yeah, he had the Shador situation going on, but think about it. The ownership took Shador. It was clear that he did not want to draft Shador. And they leapfrogged a team that was going to draft Shador in the Eagles to make sure that they didn't get him. But you had already drafted Dylan Gabriel. So again, just so much Smitty, you there, man?
Yeah, I'm still, man.
Stefanski looks 60.
I got to cut the food, man. You know how I do. But yeah, I agree. And I talked about Deshaun Watson situation a little earlier. Like I said, and the thing with that, let me get into that right quick. I'm not gonna rant about it. I'm gonna just say this right quick. You can play anything you want to go to a team. Dirty Bird, he's 43, I think. He's younger than me. One thing about it, man, if you want to play with a player, that's fine. But the Falcon organization came out and said that didn't work for them. So had they went out and signed Deshaun Watson or got him to come, we don't know who would have came for him, because I also remember defensive edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney. He said he would come to Atlanta if Deshaun Watson became quarterback in Atlanta. Yeah, I remember Fournette. I remember Landry, but we already had Calvin Ridley. Who was the running back when we who was the running back? I think we were running back by committee at that point.
Yeah, I think was that the year that we drafted Tyler too in the 5th round, I think.
Yes.
I think so. So that's another thing. Tyler doesn't even break the record because Leonard Fournette would have been snatching up carries.
Facts.
Man, that's crazy. The coach Freddie Kitchens. Yeah, oh man, yeah, that Freddie Kitchens situation. Yep, that's true. That's true. Way worse than all you see is videos of Jarvis and Odell fussing on him on the sidelines. I'm telling you. And it was so crazy. Hey, remember when that first dropped that Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham was going to play on the same team together and LSU and all that stuff like that, man, that was actually a big deal, a big thing. And it just, again, you can have all the right pieces. If the leadership ain't right, it ain't going one.
Let me ask you this right quick, though. When you have a glorified possession receiver and a diva at the other receiver, how the hell is that gonna work anyway? G Saints, what's up, my guy? How is that gonna work anyway? Because when you think about it, Baker Mayfield, yeah, he played pretty good. And I think they had David Njoku was young then. I think he was a rookie back then. So Nick Chubb, you talk about Njoku, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham. I'm sure they had other talent there. But just because something works in college does not mean it's gonna work in the pros. The thing about it, man, it's about maturity level at the pro level. And you knew that it was going to be a problem because Jarvis Landry, he was a high volume catch guy. He didn't have a lot of yards, but he was a high volume catch guy. He averaged anywhere between 9 and 10 yards a catch. Odell Beckham, he on the other end of the spectrum at 13, 14, maybe 15 yards a catch. So when you have two different type of receivers and both of them need the football, it's going to be a problem. And then both of them are divas. Look what he did in Miami, did Jarvis Landry. Look at what Odell Beckham did in New York. So it wasn't going to work from the jump.
Reminds me of T.O. and Ocho Cinco all over.
But I get it. Ocho was younger than T.O., so I expected it.
Mm-hmm. What said that? Oh, okay, no, hold on. Come on, man, move on. Sheesh, look at that offense. So that year, Yes, well, okay. There we are. Yep, they had Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, and Nicholas Chubb. Nikolai. And yep, media thought they were going to be one of the best offenses that year. Yep, I remember that. Yeah, man, we're having these technical difficulties, man. It's so much going on. People digging up people's yards and stuff like that, and then you got StreamYard. And he said, "Well, I do that anyway." You know, that's just a normal day for me as StreamYard to do that. So, yeah, we definitely apologize for the technical difficulties that we're having, but we definitely appreciate each and every last one of y'all that's still rocking with us while we're still trying to explain all this and talk about all this through it all. You know, one technology stream service don't stop no show. You know, one software don't stop the show either, man. But yep, they only won about 6 games that year, and they had dealt with some injuries too. I think both of them had got injured that year, didn't it? Didn't Odell had like a little something here and there, and Jarvis may have like a foot or something like that. So they couldn't even stay healthy anyway like that. So that's another thing that went about it. But I just want to know, man. Let's go ahead and get it out here. Let's go ahead and get it out here. This is for Smitty. I'm gonna answer this question too. But first and foremost, this question is for our chat. As we're sitting here, March 22nd, nearly 10:30. How do you guys feel about Kevin Stefanski? Are you fully on board with Kevin Stefanski? Of course, that's going to be a number one if you are. Are you on the fence about Kevin Stefanski? You just want to sit back and see what happens, man. You're not going to try to have no expectations or anything. You're just kind of just here for the ride, and hopefully it's a good one. Then put a 2. But if you are one of those people that are sitting back and saying, look, I ain't never liked the situation from the jump, and I'm not changing how I feel until the coach shows me that he is going to do something totally different than what he did in Cleveland, then you can go ahead and give us a 3. Now, for me, coming in, yeah, I was definitely number 2 on the fence. Coming in, and to be honest, I still am number 2 on the fence for me. And it's only because I've been a victim personally of giving somebody the reins before they've really earned it. So, like, again, I kind of also go by a thing where you did all these things here. That's nice. That's good. That's fine. That's dandy. Coach of the year 2 times. Is there any possible way of you coming to Atlanta and giving us a coach of the year or 2? Because if you're doing that, then that means the Atlanta Falcons are being successful, which is what we all want anyway. So it's like, can you repeat your success? Can you show us that you're more than what the Cleveland Browns are saying that you are? So I admit, I'm kind of number 2. I'm on the fence, only because I know I've given the reins to coaches before they've actually earned it. So because of my past experiences, I'm here to say no, I have not healed from it, and I just want to see what is going to come about. But at the same time, though, I'm not going to hold you guys, though. I am at least going to be open to the opportunity. Some people are not even going to be open to the opportunity to give Kevin Stefanski, a chance to pretty much do all the things or even better things in Atlanta than he did in Cleveland. So even if you're going to be on the fence, at least be still open. What we got in the chat, man? Smitty, I need your opinion too, man. Don't be leaving me hanging out here.
Trying to kill the echo, remember?
Oh, yeah, I know it. We got 2. We got Miss Drea saying 1. See Georgia Pride saying 2. That's respectable. Said Miss Drea got 1. Kelvin is 2. We got a lot of twos, man. Actually, tall is 2. Okay, JT. I'm at 1 right now because all the moves I see Ian making. Oh, I ain't gonna lie, I'm definitely number 1 on Ian. If we're talking, the conversation is Ian Cunningham. I'm all the way number 1 on Ian Cunningham. I'm darn near all the way sold. Shoot, he nailed this draft with 5 picks and move around and shuffle around and still be able to get us good value and stuff, man. I don't know, y'all. Solomon, we got number 2. DBG, I respect that. Says we're, come on, string, y'all. Move faster. After number 2, wait and see approach. Results matter, especially winning results. Amen, brother. Amen. Yes, we got 2. Mr. A221 going 2. Uncle Led 2. We paused the numbers for a commercial break to mention go Dogs, go Falcons, and shout out to Tifton, Georgia. Mr. Randy. But yeah, okay. I'm going on mute. And Smitty, give me your thoughts.
Okay. I've been telling y'all this for a while, man. I'm buying into this 100%. And the reason why I'm going to buy into it, and I'm going to keep saying it, is because I go all the way back to 2020 when he first got to Cleveland. They let him pick the team just like they're doing right now in Atlanta. They let him pick some of the players that he wanted to bring in. He had the talent, and he won Coach of the Year, and they had a winning record for the first time in God knows how long. But let me tell you this. Another reason why you have to be pretty stoked about what's going on. He's put together an offensive staff that we have never seen in Atlanta before. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan was a genius when it came to calling plays and a good offensive coordinator. But he's put in a good offensive coordinator, a good quarterback coach, pass game coordinator. I can go on and on. When you put the right pieces around you, and I told y'all this when we had that other guy who was in last time, he didn't put the proper coaches in place. When you have somebody back you that's not scared to kick you in your butt when you doing something wrong and pick you up when you having a down game, this is the type momentum that you need as a coach. So I'm buying into 100%. I'm one of those types. I believe when I see it. The only reason why I didn't buy into Raheem, I saw what he did as an intern coach. But at the same time, he didn't put the right coach staff around him. So now they're doing everything correctly. Brought back Aubrey and added the offensive coach. That's a recipe for a win because think about it. The piss poor play calling, what we had was Zach Robinson last year, we still won 8 games. 3 or 4 of those games that we had Stefanski, we probably a playoff team. May make a deep run depending on who we play. But Ms. Drill, thank you for the donation. Truly appreciate it. I don't pretend to be a great football mind. I'm just a diehard fan. No matter how many times my heart breaks, words have power. So I'm all about the positive vibes, especially the way free agents is going. That's absolutely 200% correct. You're going to support the logo no matter what goes on. But what you've seen Ian do is something that you didn't see Terry do. Build depth at the right places. Build depth in the trenches. Look at what he's done. He's went out and got 2 edge rushers after losing 2. Leonard Floyd, decent signing, but wasn't worth $10 million. You go out and get 2-3 edge rushers for that one guy. So smart spending, building depth is something that we need to do. And I seen another question up here in the chat about the running back position. I'm still going to do a video on that, G. But I'm thinking they are going to go through the draft and get a running back. I'm going to keep it real with you because all the free agents are gone. And look, if Mike Washington is there, 2nd round or 3rd round, and whenever they would take a running back, that's a red flag. That means they're going to save money. And again, I don't fall in love with players. I support the logo. If Bijan gets traded, to save money and get more draft picks to keep building this team, I'm all for it. But running back too, I think they're going through the draft. Or hey, who knows? It could be an undrafted free agent. We don't know. But go ahead, Chris.
No, absolutely. You already know what I said. Anyway, Mike Washington gets on this team. I just don't feel like it's a good look. Again, most of the main veterans are gone, but you can still go get somebody in the later rounds or undrafted to kind of try to come in, fill the void. I think still like Nathan Carter's out there too for the people that remember him from the last regime. Also, I think about it, like I said, what kind of messages is sending? You go and draft a running back with let's say a higher pick, anywhere between 1 and 4 as far as rounds go. You draft a running back. I just don't know what kind of message that sends to a guy that you still haven't paid yet and a guy that Ian didn't draft. You seen what happened with Tyler Algier, 1,000 yards. The next thing you know, here comes Bijan. Again, and that's my point, Kendrick.
Can I answer that right quick before you go on?
Well, sure. Let me add this point to it real quick so you can be able to get the full. No, because Kendrick was asking why not get a vet. That's my point. Why it's still like little guys out here that you can make create a running back by committee behind Bijan. There's some guys out there. But if you draft a running back, I just feel like that just sends a completely different message. And it just shows that, again, ain't nobody safe. But go ahead, Smitty.
But they did it once before, right? With Tyler Algier. So why can't they do it again? I mean, Mike Washington, let's be real. He comes out of Arkansas, 4.3 speed, 220. Same type build as Bijan. A little bit faster than Bijan. What if they bring in a Mike Washington and say, hey, we're going to let this work 1 year and see how it goes? And if Mike Washington can prove to us that he can carry a team, hey, we can use Bijan, make a trade, get more picks, go out and get another edge rusher, replace James Pierce Jr. Or if they get 3 first-round picks, hey, we know who that quarterback coming out next year. We ain't got to call no names. And next year's quarterback class is stacked. What if they not sold on Tua or Pennies and say, hey, we got to sacrifice something to go get our future quarterback? They going to do it. So the thing about it, man, y'all think about it. If they brought in Bijan after Tyler had 1,000-yard season, what makes you think Bijan is, untouchable after that? That's just logical thinking. But go ahead, Chris.
I mean, I agree with everything that you're saying. We're on the same wavelength with that. And we talked about this, all the time. And me and Smitty, we legit talk every day, y'all. So we talk about so many different scenarios, it would blow your mind, for real. But seriously, though, again, we have seen what the history has been. We see guys like, remember, the Giants let Saquon Barkley go off to the Eagles. I'm just saying, like, somebody else considered the best running back in football, or at least on his way before he even went to the Eagles, then go to the Eagles, end up being the last piece that they needed to get a championship. Gets that contract, all that good stuff, and the rest is history. Giants are still trying to rebuild their running back, quarterback, everything room, and in comes John Harbaugh. We'll see what happens with that there. But again, man, it's just we can't fall in love with players. We just cannot, because every time we do, as a fan base, we get burned. Think about that as well. Every time we fall in love with players, we get burned. They end up moving on. Think about how people felt with the whole Julio Jones situation. That entire situation with Shannon Sharp calling, all that stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know the fans were irate because that's Julio Jones. That's 11 right there. And he said, what? He out of where? And just, again, you have that. When Matt Ryan respectfully asked for his trade because after the Deshaun Watson situation. Yeah, that hurt too. Calvin Ridley. it just so, man, we can go on and on. Again, we just cannot fall in love with the players. We just got to always remember that the logo is above all. And with these players, man, we just got to realize it's going to be something that's going to stay, and we're going to be happy for it. But it's going to be a lot of them that are actually going to go. But go ahead, Smitty.
I think I'm going to make a short out of that, man. I'm going to make a short out of that. What they going to do about the running back position? Could Bijan Robinson be trade bait down the road? Because think about it, man. $25 million is a lot for a running back. That's why Saquon Barkley is not in New York. That's why a lot of these that's why Derrick Henry was not in Tennessee anymore. And they shaved him to what, 11, 12 million for 1 year. Bijan got more than that his rookie year. So just think about it. Money at the end of the day, money, you got to save money. You got to build a team. And look, it is what it is. And when I make a short, I know I'm gonna get flat for it, but y'all know I don't care. And I know he's generational, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, what's more important? Trying to get to that Super Bowl or trying to please that one player? Because think about it. Yeah, you can build around that one player, but you got to pay Drake London $30-35 million. Depending on if you want to bring in another quarterback, you got to pay them. So we don't need to fall back into that Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Deion Jones thing again. That was a warning. So look, I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna make a video. I take the flack for it, but I'm gonna keep it real like I always do. I don't think nobody's untouchable. Why? Because neither Kevin Stefanski, nor Matt Ryan, nor Ian Cunningham drafted Bijan Robinson, Drake London, or Kyle Pitts for that matter. So it happens. Go ahead.
I feel like the only saving grace, because at least he played with Matt, so he may get a little bit more favor than all the rest of them. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens with that. But again, I am totally on the same page. We are not saying or suggesting that the Falcons get rid of anybody, because we actually do like all the players, as far as, all our game changers, the Jesse Bates, I'm saying, we want to keep Kyle Pitts for the ability that he does have and what he can be if he's a focal point in the offense. Bijan Robinson, best running back in football. I mean, enough said there. Drake London, best blocking wide receiver, I believe, in the NFL. Also a dog. 50-50 balls or 80-20 when it comes to him. And he actually extended his repertoire as far as on the field, because he's a guy that's not just on the outside. You can move him around now. So I'm just saying, like, guys, we got people, but who's going to stay and who's going to go? That is ultimate decision is going to be up to Ian Cunningham. It's the same situation in any sports that we watch or that we love. When one guy exits and another guy comes in, sometimes you have a guy come in and say, hey, I'm keeping this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, because I already know we can make something happen with these pieces. Then you have some guys that come in and be like, I ain't draft none of y'all. So honestly, you can go because I'm going to get some draft picks. I'm going to get some capital. I'm going to get some players that I'm used to. Maybe I'll trade this player for 2 players over here that I used to work with to bring them over here now. It just, again, moving pieces, moving parts. So we just got to keep that open mind right there. Let me bring that up.
And also think about the Panthers traded Christian McCaffrey too.
Facts. This is a real question right here. Do you think the GM and coach will do whatever to save their jobs? I say yes, because we've seen guys make moves to try to save their jobs. Thomas Dimitroff, when he went and got Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry, he was trying to save his job. Terry Fontenot, when he drafted Jalen Walker and then came back and drafted James Pierce Jr., that was let me try to save my job and get the fan base what they've been talking about. They've been talking about defense. I've been completely ignoring that defense shit. I've been completely ignoring it because I've been going offense, and it still hasn't gotten us over the hump. Let me go defense. Let me have a defensive based draft. But
let me make one more point right quick about Bijan.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be real with y'all. Y'all know it. A running back shelf life is not good in the NFL. Bijan is going to his 4th year already. Look how many carries he done put on his body in 4 years. I'm sorry, 3 years. Look at how many carries he done had. And we've been saying for a while, they got to get a number 2 back because you got to take some of that pressure off of him. So when you think about it, man, a running back shelf life is not long. Bijan is still young, true enough. He's going to get much more carries in his NFL. But at the same time, we all know when they get closer to 30, that running back going to slow down. But them draft picks that you traded for him, they're going to still be young. They're going to still be producing while he's slowing down. See, one thing y'all got to learn about positions and physics of the NFL, Father Time undefeated. And running backs, they get hit every single play, damn near every single game. So the thing about it, man, I'm just being real with y'all. Running backs are on a time crunch. Their shelf life is not as long as a wide receiver or a tight end or any other position. So, hey, I mean, look, I say if you get the right deal and you know it's going to increase the value of this team, make this team a little bit more championship worthy, oh yeah, you're going to make that deal. Because at the end of the day, like we said, Tyler had 1,000 yards before he got here. Then he had to take a back seat. What makes Bijan different? Same position. And the good part about it, Tyler, less wear and tear. He moves to Arizona, he gonna pull a Michael Turner on y'all. Just watch. But I'm telling you, if they get a deal next year for Bijan, take it. Especially depending on what this year turns out to be. Because if you end up with a losing record this year, you don't want to pay a running back $25 million. Trust me, you don't. But he on the time crunch. Just remember that. Remember that.
No, facts. I mean, again, we talked about that multiple times. It's almost like we a broken record, but we got to hammer it home because it's the facts. We got to start winning because that is going to be a deciding factor in a decision made by skilled players who can go anywhere else and get whatever contract they want. Some play on a team that is the organization that has better structure. Everything. It just, again, you, regardless of the smiles, the jokes, and how happy or hunky-dory a player can be, players want to win. And if we're not doing that, eventually guys are going to be like, hey man, I want to ask for my release. Can you find me a trade partner? Can you pay me more money if you want me to stay? It's just all those things come into the forefront of everything. We just can't lose that. We can't lose sight of that too. We always talk about what we want, Falcon fans. We don't ever really think about what the player wants to a degree, or at least talk about it enough. Players want to win. We want to keep this guy. We want to pay this guy. We want to pay this guy. But think about that as what I just said too. Sometimes you may have to overpay a guy just to keep him to stay because you don't want to have to go try to find someone else to try to replace him. So, but what helps that is if you're winning games, guys will take it a little bit lighter sometimes on your checkbook when you're winning games, when you have a winning culture, when you're constantly going to the playoffs, when there's constantly guys, sort of not booking vacations for January and February because they're playing football. So just throwing it out there.
Yeah, man. See, don't take it the wrong way. We just always thinking logically. That's all. We thinking about the long term. When you think long term, trust me, Ian is thinking long term. And as I told y'all on the previous show, if he sit up and trade Khalil Mack, one of the best defensive players at the time, what makes you think Bijan any different? And Khalil Mack made way more money than Bijan Robinson. But at the end of the day, it's about building for the future. It's about the shelf life of the position, and it's just about value. Either you're gonna get value in the contract, or you're gonna get value in draft picks. One or the other. It's up to you which one you want to choose. And I'm gonna put out a video as soon as we get off of here. I'm gonna put it up, and I take all the flack for it. But I guarantee you, somebody gonna understand what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, it's a business. Just saying. Exactly, Kendrick. That's all I'm saying. Michael Turner was behind LaDainian Tomlinson in San Diego for about 4 years. When he finally got his chance, after he stayed here about 5 years, I think. Think about it. It took a toll on his body. Michael Turner was done at 31 or 32, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 32, I think. Bijan's what, 25? He got about, I'd say, 3 more good years. I'm just saying. And I might be wrong, because Saquon just ran for 2,000 yards. He damn near 30, but he's a freak of nature. So, I mean, hey, I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it real like I always do. But y'all gonna get that video, trust me.
And think about this too, man. Talking about wearing down a player. I look at guys like Ovi Mahaley. And, I mean, of course, guys have their own personal decisions too. If you want to continue to like be in the gym after life after football, that's on you. You got that right. I feel like every player earns that right, especially after a long career. But even think about how Michael Turner is even like moving, as far as man, he used to take a lot of punishment because he was a big guy. You had to come at him with cruel intentions, or you just getting run slap over. Just that simple. So again, he took a lot of hits too. But yeah, we really didn't have no one like that behind Michael Turner. You think about what we had, like Jarvis Norwood. What was Ito Smith there? Or was that Antoine Smith I'm thinking about? I did like Antoine Smith though. But overall, I'm just thinking about just the running backs, man. We really didn't give Michael Turner a lot of help. And, but we had Julio, we had Roddy, we had Harry. We had all those guys too. So it's like you had to pay all those guys. It ain't no point on you spending big money on a second running back or something like that. So, Well, Smitty, you got anything else for family?
Nah, man, I think I'm gonna put out that video now. I'm thinking now. So yeah, I don't say it all I'm gonna say, but Ms. Drill, thank you for the donation as always. And I always thank y'all for joining us, and thank y'all for jumping in the chat, man, because that Jarvis Landry, man, that dude, man, he just a diva, man. He had that problem when he was in Miami. I wasn't getting the football, but at the same time, you don't have breakaway speed. You a possession receiver. The guy with breakaway speed the one supposed to get all the catches and all the yards. So I mean, play your position, man. Don't try to defecate on the man because you feel like he shorted you when the organization was trash. Their front office was trash, not the organization, the front office, should I say. I'm not going to say the organization because some of those players, they can really play. But I will say that owner, he needs to sell the team. He needs to go back to real estate or wherever the hell he was doing before he bought that team because I don't see them going nowhere. And Myles Garrett, I love you. You're a great player, but to me, that was a big mistake signing that long-term deal. You want to stay in that trash, now you got to deal with it. But look, again, I will be dropping that video sometime tonight. But look, Jarvis Landry was wrong, and I'm gonna support Kevin Stefanski until I can't no more. And I trust the process because what I'm seeing, I absolutely love it. But go ahead.
Yep. No, I will admit, like I said, I love what's going on, and Ian Cunningham and what he's coming in and doing, what he's not afraid to do. He's not afraid to be transparent. The process, all the coaches coming in, it does, give you at least like some solace to a degree in there. But I just want to see again, so when we go out there, I'm more so, for Stefanski than against Stefanski or anything. And I'm not even really against Stefanski. I just want to see. And it just got to work. Everything that we're bringing all these pieces in. And I'm just assuming logically this should work. But again, we thought like that before in the past and be like, yeah, this will work. No problem. And then it is one. So again, I'm for Kevin Stefanski. He's here. He's our head coach. And I'm just ready to get after it this upcoming season. Really, I want to see what OTA is going to be like. Can't wait to see what training camp is going to be like. I think it's imperative, really, for as many people as they possibly can to get to training camp this year so you can see up close and personal what our new head coach is going to deliver, how players and everything are responding to him and just everything. Because, it's a great time, but it is also perfect example for the players and the coaches to display an idea to the fan base on what this is going to be this year. So, but for me, man, thank you, Solomon, for the donation as well. I agree, Smitty and Chris. I feel that Ian Cunningham could trade Bijan if he traded Khalil Mack in his prime, and that's all we saying, family. When the chips are down and when you got to make the tough decisions, do you have the gall? Do you have the nerve to pull the trigger on a decision that fake people in the fan base and outside the fan base may look at you sideways? But again, it all comes back to whatever decision that you make, you got to stand on it and it's got to work at the end of it all. So for me, man, A1 Forever Sports, that's the platform on YouTube. Please come over, like, comment, and subscribe. And also, same thing for the Hawks Digest. Love to have you on both channels. The Hawks Digest is growing at such a rapid pace, man. That's crazy. But also, make sure that y'all showing love to A1 Forever Sports. Of course, the home channel for Chris Tipmore. Working on something else in the background, man. You may actually see me a little bit more, but on a different platform. Well, some things are working behind the scenes, and we'll see what happens in a minute. But working on some things, man. Just continuously working. But also Twitter, A1 Forever, Instagram, A1 Forever, and the real A1 Forever on TikTok. Last thing I want to say is always thank y'all for coming through, being a part of our lives. We really appreciate y'all. Y'all drive the show. So we can't do it without you guys. And also, last thing, make sure that y'all find y'all peace today, man. It's 11 o'clock at night, and hopefully you have found your peace because that positive energy always creates elevation. Smitty, take it away.
Only piece I'm gonna find is a piece of chicken right about now. It's been another good pop-up show, man. It went into a deep conversation. But yeah, I got to put that video out. I'm not thinking about it, and it bothering the hell out of me. And shout out to Chris, man. Chris and the Hawks Digest, they're almost to 4,000. So shout out to him, Walter, and Mikey. They're doing their thing on the Hawks Digest. And the Hawks, man, they hitting their stride going to the playoffs. And this is what you love to see. And for all y'all that see it, trade was a problem, y'all was wrong. So hey, it is what it is. Ms. Drill, thank you for the donation. True, appreciate it. You be blessed as well. Look, y'all know where to catch me, man. Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. Also catch me on Twitter at FatBoySlim_21. And always remember, man, if y'all got a question that y'all feel like makes for a great video, please drop it. Because if I get a question and it makes for a great video, I'm gonna do a video and I will give you credit for it. So again, drop those videos and those questions, those video questions and ideas. Cause hey Solomon, you know I gotta get my chicken wing before I go to bed, man. Cornbread too. I'm gonna be up eating late like a fat Mac. But yeah, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We truly appreciate y'all coming through, man, as always. But we're gonna holler at y'all soon, man, because we just never know what some news gonna break. And we're gonna holler, man. Peace.